Hey guys, good morning. Felipe here. Welcome to my channel, Focus Diversity. So today I kind of wanted to go a little bit over the housing market again. Um, from what I can see and tell, so I'm a broker in South Florida and in Seattle, Washington. So I noticed the differences in the market between South Florida and Seattle. In terms of inventory, Florida has more inventory definitely than Seattle. Seattle is another level. Inventory is crazy low, which it's good in the way that it will insulate or hedge against a possible recession, right? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to supply and demand. So I've been looking into a lot the conflict going on between Russia and Ukraine. Reason being because Biden has sent troops to Europe to kind of prove a point or let Russia know that America has Ukraine's back. So it's kind of getting a little it's getting a little dangerous over there, from what I'm watching, because on the other hand, Russia has China support, and as we all know, China has become quite a freaking superpower as of this date, or as of this time. So I'm definitely watching that situation through a microscope, because if, God forbid, and I hope not, some kind of war erupts, now you have a lot of countries involved. You have China, you have Russia, you have France, you have Germany, you have the United States, of course, Ukraine. And big reason why I'm watching it, because this will affect commodity prices. If some kind of war does erupt, this gives the Federal Reserve or the government or the central bank an excuse to kick down rates again and to print money to kind of finance, some kind of war, because war is expensive as hell. And if you look throughout history, war has been extremely inflationary, in which we are already seeing inflation. If some kind of war does erupt, it'll be hyperinflation. So therefore, I'm watching that, because if that does occur, I would want to get out of the US dollar. Because for example, Germany, Hitler, as he was preparing to go into war years and years prior to whatever, 1938 or 39, he financed his military via forcing banks to purchase government bonds. Just to give you an idea of how war is financed, and it's financed through a lot of money, because it's expensive to go to war. And in that case, inflation would really be out of control, because again, it gives the central banks, the government, a reason to lower rates and print more money to stimulate, to finance the war. So therefore, all kind of commodities will explode in price. Hard assets, including real estate, would explode in price, further inflating the already inflated bubble that we're currently seeing, which a lot of people are calling a super bubble, a once in a lifetime, every 100-year event. However, this is now an ongoing issue that keeps going on and on, a lot more frequently than every 100 years. So I'm watching, the conflicts going on between Russia and Ukraine very closely for that very reason, because if the United States gets involved, and At the end of the day, who knows? I hope nothing does occur, but that's gonna cause some kind of conflict that may lead to some kind of war, and you have a lot of powerful countries involved. And that being the case, as I said, to finance war is very expensive. And that will cause hyperinflation, causing prices of everything, including real estate, to rise and further increasing the bubble that we are now experiencing, right? So what a crazy time to be alive, right? But as of this date, supposedly, and interest rates have all, mortgage rates specifically, have already somewhat risen a bit in practically slightly above or around the 3% range. So it seems like they're going to be raising rates. However, which should level off or bring down or cool off the seller's market that we're currently having in the housing market. Bringing the pendulum, slightly back towards the buyer's favor. Not dramatically, because again, there hasn't been any kind of catalyst or black swan event to introduce more inventory into the market, because currently inventory has been blocked throughout 2020 and 2021, especially since they prevented Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae from foreclosing on homes. However, that is no longer the case. But thankfully, majority of the people that were delinquent on their loans have caught up on their loans. So I'm keeping an eye out for some possible catalysts to introduce inventory into the housing market. However, that being said, institutions, as you know, iBuyers, which are just institutional buyers such as Zillow, Open Door, have gotten into the housing market. So they're purchasing homes, either long-term holds or fix and flips. Primarily they seek homes, distressed homes, or homes owned by absentee owners, which it's a vacation home for them. They don't necessarily need the home. It's more like a pleasure home. So iBuyers, institutional buyers, for them are typically focused on purchasing distressed homes and distressed homes, foreclosed homes, homes under foreclosure, REOs, real estate owned homes. But that now introduces another competitor into the housing market for the buyer side. So now you're competing additionally to other buyers. You're competing with institutional buyers, which in reality have an endless supply of money. So kind of a crazy situation. And that is a big reason why the housing market went out of control in 2021. As you've seen what happened to Zillow. They were overpaying for homes, causing prices to spike up even further, inflating the bubble. I believe housing prices rose in approximately 20% in 2021, which is pretty crazy. So we're currently in a crazy environment. Everything in reality is somewhat of a bubble, from commodities to housing to equities, although equities have kind of somewhat come back to earth. Certain equities that are, certain companies that are producing no profits whatsoever. So yeah, I'm keeping an eye closely into the conflict going on over there, because if that does occur, at some point it might, lead off up to over here into, if some kind of war erupts. I personally, in my opinion, which what the hell do I know, right? So don't listen to me. I'm just speaking my mind. I'm getting out of the dollar if that were to occur, and getting into either commodities or hard assets, because to finance a war takes a lot of money printing, further devaluing the US dollar, such has been done in the past. So why should this time be any different, right? As they say. All right, guys. Hit me with a like and a subscribe. Of course, you're welcome not to. If any of this is valuable to you, I spend a lot of time researching things. So, all right, I'll catch you guys soon.